Pick a Bucket or Two. Written and told by Kiefer Adams. Harvey the Crane Engine was enjoying his work on the island of Sodor. He had a bit of a rocky start when he first arrived, as the other engines thought he looked very strange with his crane arm mounted on the top of his tanks. But ever since he saved Percy from a nasty accident, Harvey had continued to work hard and had won over the affection of the other engines. Harvey had always been known to use a hook whenever he was working. Even during his early days when he used to work at a waterworks, Harvey had never known to use anything else to lift and unload any cargo he was tasked with. But all of that was about to change. One morning, Percy arrived at the docks to collect some important cargo from the mainland. He was rounding a corner when suddenly, "Monster!" he wailed. Perking over some trucks was a large giant grabber. "Is that you, Percy?" called a voice. Percy looked closer. "Harvey?" he gasped. "What on earth is that?" I'm really sorry," said Harvey. "It's a new grabber. The Fat Controller wanted me to test it today. To be honest, I don't really like it." "It gave me a scare," exclaimed Percy. "What do you need a grabber for?" "To lift things like gravel and coal," said Harvey. "I don't know what to make of it, to be honest. It feels too uncomfortable on my crane arm." "Oh well, I suppose I'd better get used to it." Harvey carried on testing his grabber, while Percy puffed meekly away, a little shaken but surprised by the ordeal. All day long, Harvey kept testing his grabber wherever he went. Wherever there was gravel or coal nearby, Harvey practiced as best as he could. Unfortunately, the Ironworks brothers, Arry and Bert, saw a chance for some teasing. "Look at that, Bert," Arry scolded. "Do you remember the last time you seen something like that on the island?" "The name escapes me, Arry," sniggered Bert. "But I bet he'd be chuffed to bits knowing that a steam engine's giving him competition." The two diesels cackled with laughter. "I say, Harvey," rapped Arry. "For a minute there, we thought you were a mechanical dinosaur with that thing munching on the end of your crane arm." "Puts our own grabber at the old smelters to shame," chuckled Bert, and the two diesels roared with laughter as they headed back to the smelters. Poor Harvey was hurt by their words. "I think your grabber's really useful," said Thomas to Harvey that evening. "Well, I don't think so," said Harvey miserably. "I mean, just look at the thing. My crane hook was so nice and dainty, and now I have to look at this thing for a couple of days. What on earth was the Fat Controller thinking? I can't work with this." "You haven't given it a chance yet," said Thomas. "That's why you probably feel it's useless." "Oh, maybe," said Harvey sulkily, "but I just wish I could be useful without it." "You'll never know when the chance to use it will come," said Thomas. Before long, all the engines had turned in for the night. But before he went to sleep, Harvey looked at his grabber one more time. Little did he know that the chance to use it would come sooner than expected. The next morning, the Fat Controller sent Arry and Bert to help Mavis at the quarry, while Bill and Ben were on the other side of the island. The two diesels still thought that Harvey's grabber was something to laugh at. But in doing so, they were careless. The trucks had been troublesome for Mavis all morning, and she hadn't had the chance to warn the two diesels about their behaviour. By the time she was able to, it was already too late. The trucks giggled in their silly way as they pushed Arry and Bert down the quarry. "This'll teach you for causing us grief," they sniggered. Suddenly, the coupling between Bert and the trucks broke, and the two diesels shot forward like rockets. "Look out!" shouted Mavis, but it was too late. Arry Arry and Bert hit the buffers at the end of the quarry and were buried in gravel. Nice going, Bert, Arry snapped. Oh, don't blame me, Bert rumbled. It was those stupid trucks that caused this. I'll go and get help, called Mavis, and she hurried out of the quarry, the diesel sputtering under a thick cloud of gravel dust. Arry and Bert were stuck in the gravel pit for what felt like ages. By the time Mavis returned, she had managed to find help. The diesels were strangely quiet when they saw who their rescuer was, as Harvey set to work to clear the mess. He carefully dug the diesels out with his new grabber, and then with Mavis's help, he managed to pull the diesels back on the rails. Arry and Bert were not best pleased to see who was there to greet them. You two have behaved in a careless way today, boomed the Fat Controller. And I understand you've made rude remarks about Harvey too. Whether he has a hook, a grabber, or a claw, he has proven today that he is really useful. Have I made myself clear? Yes, sir, muttered Arry. Clearly transparent, sir, Bert stuttered. Harvey, said the Fat Controller, will you use your grabber again in future? Absolutely, sir, replied Harvey. I now know how useful it can be. The Fat Controller smiled. Without another word, Arry and Bert left the quarry. As they headed back to the smelters, they had a lot to think about when it came to Harvey and his new, really useful grabber.